At the beginning of the anime, we see a sword surrounded by fire and blood. A warrior appears and begins to give a speech as we watch him fighting against various enemies. Then we witness a city being destroyed by airplanes bombing it. In a room, while a melody plays, a doll with human-like facial features and a crown says, "He was a king." Next we see the king in what seems to be a dream, submerged in the sea while the child tells him, "Father, seek the light." Afterward, a couple is shown gazing at their newborn baby, while we hear the king's voice asking, "Where am I?" He claims not to know anyone in that place. We find out that the baby's name is Arthur, and the king begins to suspect that he has been reincarnated. We see him meditating, speaking about his various victories, until he accepts that he has been reborn as a child. His mother, Alice, and his father, Reynolds, take care of him with great love. However, Arthur, with the king's consciousness inside him, feels uncomfortable experiencing such basic things like being unable to control his bodily functions. He prefers to think that he's dreaming and will soon wake up, rather than accept that he has truly been reborn as a baby. Outside the house, the viewers discover something interesting. Reynolds uses magical powers to destroy a giant rock. Then, he lightly hits his head, and Alice uses her powers to heal him. At that moment, we understand that powers exist in this world. We then see Reynolds fighting a bull, and a group of hunters who seem to be his friends. The king observes his father with curiosity as he wants to analyze him, since he also wishes to develop powers. Upon seeing that weapons are freely allowed, he deduces that the place they're in is dangerous. All the more reason for him to want to learn to use powers as soon as possible. When his parents put him to sleep, Arthur recalls his youth when he could eliminate intruders at will, and he laments not having the freedom to sleep whenever he wanted. As time goes by, he starts getting used to being called Little Arthur. He even tries to learn about powers and history while his mother thinks he's asleep. During one of those moments while reading a book, he discovers that there are 3 great kingdoms: Dicathan, the underground nation of the dwarves; Elenoir, the hidden kingdom of the elves; and Sapin, where he was born, the most populated human nation. Just like in his previous world, there is a hereditary monarchy there. However, this civilization is more technologically primitive, although the use of magic compensates for that lack of advancement. There is an energy called mana, an inherited ability that appears in 1 out of every 100 individuals. Mana has 2 branches, augmentation and conjuring. Augmenters enhance their physical stats, while conjurers project mana to manipulate it as they please. Arthur deduces that his mother, Alice, is a conjurer, although he acknowledges that there can be exceptions. He understands that mana is controlled through the development of the mana core, and he compares it to a concept he knew in his previous world, ki. He believes that if he can control the center of his ki, he will be able to make progress. While he's trying to unlock the use of mana, his mother interrupts him to change his diaper. In her diary, Alice expresses how much she loves her son, although she notes that she has never seen him smile. Later, we see Reynolds training Arthur with a stick. Alice appears worried, as she believes the child hasn't even learned to walk properly yet, let alone be practicing with a sword. During a visit to the city, Arthur observes everything carefully. He prioritizes learning above all else, convinced that knowledge is a powerful weapon. Upon seeing swords, shields, and various types of weapons, he deduces the technological development level of the place. He notices that minerals such as rocks and diamonds are abundant, and he perceives the use of magic by several people. Although he still feels uncomfortable being trapped in the body of a baby, he acknowledges that he is not living a bad life. He remembers his previous childhood, marked by abandonment in an orphanage, and for that reason, he doesn't fully understand the matriarchal dynamic he now lives in. Alice, very observant, realizes that Arthur sneaks out of his room at night to read books. She also notices how attentively he observes everything when they take him to the market. These, according to her, are traits of someone destined to be a king, though she would prefer for him to live a peaceful life. Later, Arthur watches his father train and reflects that he is very fortunate, as the magic he possesses comes from Reynolds, who is an augmenter. He convinces his mother, with adorable faces, to let him read a book before sleeping, and she agrees. That night, while his parents are outside, Arthur concentrates deeply in an attempt to use mana, until he accidentally causes an explosion in the house. Reynolds protects him from the collapse and, upon entering to check on Arthur, is surprised by his abilities since the child isn't even 3 years old. We see him levitating, surrounded by a large amount of mana, but soon pieces of the ceiling begin to fall on him. His parents rush to protect him. Arthur begins to cry, not fully understanding what he's feeling. He never had a family in his previous life, and now, upon receiving that unconditional love, he is moved. For the first time, he cries from emotion. You know, guys, see you next time, subscribe, or else I'll steal your girlfriends.